Hi, howdy, welcome back. If you can't tell by the title of today's video, we're looking at what I thought was the 5 best palettes I got this year, that I even came in contact with this year. And I'm looking them over, and I think only one of them did not come out this year. I'm not 100% certain, but I think only one is not brand new this year. So I thought we would take a peek at those, and then we have an honorable mention at the end. If you're noticing my skin is a little flushed today, I just did a chemical exfoliator last night. Chemical exfoliator last night, so my skin is a little red. But we should be ready to rock and roll again by tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, now we're going to start off. This is not really in any particular order. I picked these 5 palettes because they are the ones I keep reaching for. The ones that I find I am using over and over and over again. And that's just, I know that sounds like silly criteria, but that is the criteria I have for this. But before we get into that, guys, feel free to reach down and hit like. Or if this is not your first time here, feel free to reach down and hit subscribe, then like. Either or, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Now, I think the first one we're going to have to look at this year would probably be the first one I got this year, which would be Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk palette. I'm trying to find a way to show this without all the lit glare, and I'm finding, okay, there we go. Pillow Talk palette. If you're familiar with her Pillow Talk series, it is basically a rosy pinky series that's designed to make you look flushed and pretty, kind of like if you just woke up pillow talking wise. I don't know how else to describe it. But this one, I think this is probably one of my better palettes this year. I use this a crap ton. Charlotte Tilbury's formula is awesome, if you can't tell. Check it out. She's got a newer formula, but I actually like this formula best, as weird as that sounds. And I like how many mattes are in this one. You've got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 mattes out of 12 colors. So actually, this is one of my top 5 favorites that I keep using over and over and over again. Anybody else tried it? What do you guys think? Now, this was not a cheap palette. This is her Pillow Talk Instant Eye palette, which is still available. You can get it on her website or Sephora, or I believe Beautylish should still be carrying it. So if you're interested in picking this up and you're like the pinky nudie colors, this is one for you. Okay, my next palette for the year that I thought really just knocked it out of the park, I'm gonna go with the Carides Come As You Are. Now, other than being super, super duper affordable, I loved the color story on this. Like, it was based on 90s grunge theme, and it was all commentary on 90s music scenes. It was pretty awesome, actually. And actually, I find myself, I continue to reach for this because I'm loving these colors. And if you can't tell, like, if I do this sideways, you're going to see there's definitely dents in quite a few of these picked colors. Like, I'm not posting this video till after I give it to them, but 2 of my friends are actually getting this palette for the holidays because they both seem to, every time I wear it, I get compliments from a whole lot of people, and they've both complimented it, but they were like, they had no idea what this palette was or had heard of this company, so they're getting this palette for Christmas. Love this palette though. Like, I use that way more than I ever thought. I had bought it on a whim, and I was absolutely just stunned by how much I liked it. Okay, we're gonna go with the next one would be the Nomad by Juvia's. And I've never been a big yellow person. If you can't tell by my skin, as super pale as I am, I actually have a yellow undertone to my skin naturally. You know, when I'm not red from chemical exfoliating. And a lot of times yellow does not look good on me. It makes me kind of look washed out. This palette, I loved it. This stuff is so friggin' soft and it's so easily accessible. You can get this at Ulta. There's a couple different websites, like Juvia's got their own website. This is a friggin' amazing palette. I was blown away by how pigmented it was. And I can definitely say that this palette has definitely had me looking into some of the other palettes by this company. Like, it is so soft and so buttery, but it's also so affordable. These are huge freaking pans. Look how big the size of these things are. These are huge, but it's affordable, like super affordable. So if you're looking for a yellows palette or just wanting to try something, now this is a minority-owned business. Just as a heads up, Juvia is a Black-owned business. So if you're looking to support a minority business, and you want to try something that seems really, really high quality, that is really, really high quality, I would suggest this one. Seriously, you can get it in a whole bunch of places, and it's actually not going to break the bank, which is a big thing. Okay, the next one would be Too Faced Pumpkin Spice. Now, I have shied away from a lot of Too Faced stuff since Estee Lauder bought it. Some of the quality went down, some of the innovation went down when Estee Lauder picked it up. But this one, I went from thinking I wasn't going to get it, that it was just a cheap play on the fall season, to getting a discount on it. So I decided to try it, and ended up being one of those things that I pick up over and over and over again. Like, it is definitely a palette that is an everyday thing. And you wouldn't think it by looking at some of these colors here, but this is actually a really banging thing. I mean, this orange alone comes out friggin' amazing. And then paired with this, you got a fall look. The pinks and the pastels actually are, you can do spring with, you can do winter with some of the darker tones. Like, this is definitely an all-around palette. And I keep going for it over and over again. So I bought some palettes, but this one definitely, I think, is going to be one of the big winners. This is one of my big winners for this year. And in case you're curious, I'm going to swatch Pumpkin Spice, Ginger Spice, and what the hey, Warm and Cozy. Just give you guys a show of some of these colors. Actually really pigmented, and this one blends together beautifully. I mean, the color story is set up in a way that it kind of hints at variations you can do that come out really nice. And I do love the quality for this one. I mean, it didn't fail like so many more Too Faced before it have. So, you know what, if you haven't picked it up and you're thinking about it, I'm certain it'll end up on sale soon. So, you know, I would push you towards that one. This one might be a little unpopular, and I'm willing to admit that it's probably going to be an unpopular. This is my number 5. Jeffree Star's Cremated Palette. Now, this came out to a lot of controversy. It came out to being said that it was tone deaf because of the pandemic and the sheer body count we've had, and that how could they name this? But I keep in mind that these actually take years in the making to come up with some of this stuff. And all issues with Jeffree Star aside, I had never tried Jeffree Star Cosmetics until this palette. It's actually prettier in person. I don't know how else to say that. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Like, I've been wearing this one a lot lately too, especially with winter and fall. And the quality is surprising. Like, I was not expecting somebody who's basically an Instagram and YouTube influencer. I wasn't expecting a lot from this company. And actually, it turned out to be a very beautiful palette. It's very soft. It's beautifully blends. And you don't have, I have not had almost any fallout with this palette at all. And I know that seems like a weird thing to say with what comes out to basically be a grays taupes neutral palette, but this is actually a very lovely. Now we're going to dip into the darkest one, Hearse, in case you're curious. And then Angel of Death. And then just for grins and giggles, Pallbearer. Just to give you guys a view of these. You can't tell, there's definitely microfoils in the black one. Actually some gorgeous, gorgeous colors. And if you were thinking about it but just shied away from it because you weren't certain that was going to be a good investment, there are a lot of variations in this palette which actually can equal quite a few looks. I have worn this more than a couple times, and I usually get compliments on it because of how soft the grays look, how nice they look on the skin. So if you are kind of on the fence about this one, I would just say, in terms of makeup, in terms of a perspective from makeup, not taking in all of the drama and whatever scandal he's in the middle of, this is actually a really good palette, a really soft medium. I like the formula that he has got going on this, and I like the color story that's in this, and I never thought that something that was just straight up grays would be what gets me going, but actually, yeah, I love this. Okay, now our honorable mention for the year is going to be, the reason it's an honorable mention and the reason it was not an actual in the top 5 list is because it was not actually a palette that was created by a company. You guys might have seen my video on Lethal Cosmetics there where it lets you build your own palette. That's why, because this is not a palette you can just pick up. You have to build one yourself. And I liked the quality of this company. It is pretty certain it's vegan. It's out of Berlin, cruelty-free, and it is on a little bit more expensive side, but it's got almost a double lifespan over some of the other stuff you're finding on the markets right now, at least in terms of what they have written on here. So this, like, this stuff is awesome. Let's see if I can give you a couple swatches. And just remember, I'm into mattes, so a lot of times if it's a build your own palette number, the palette's going to be in with me mattes. That, as you can tell by the spectrum of my arm, we have really run the gauntlet this year. Like, we've really gone up and down. But when the only thing you can concentrate on really is your eyes, because your mouth or nothing else can show, or like blush is going to be hard to do with a face mask. Lipstick, I miss you. God, I miss lipstick. Like, these are my top 5 palettes of the year with the honorable mention. What are some of the top palettes you guys saw this year? I mean, what are the ones that really attracted you, or you were standing there going, whoa, no, never mind. Like, that were definite no's in your book. Come on, leave some lists down below. Tell me what you really got into. I would love to check out some of the stuff you guys thought was pretty awesome. I mean, you have to have some different thoughts than I did. I have been curious about Natasha Denone's Glam palette, but I haven't been able to get my hands on it quite yet. I want to say there's been a couple that I haven't been able to get a hold of, or that I couldn't afford at the time, so that I haven't gotten my hands on. But let me know, which ones did you think that came out this year that were really good? I mean, which ones did you really enjoy and would recommend over and over again? Okay. Ooh, and which ones did you not like? I'm curious. Like, some of the ones I've picked up this year, like, not gonna lie, after trying Cremated, I am now a little bit more curious about some of the Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Not gonna lie. Pumpkin Spice, the palette, kind of renewed my hope in Too Faced. As weird as that sounds, like, some of the stuff I've tried of them recently has just been... But this one actually turned out to be pretty much on the money, so that was kind of nice. The Carity palette, I'm looking to try some other stuff by this company. I just haven't had a chance to yet. Charlotte Tilbury. I feel like this was one of her big ones this year. I'm not even going to pretend. Like, her Christmas palette did not go over all that well. And Fire Rose, the new formula, did not necessarily apply or look the greatest. And her newest ones, which are supposed to mimic basically social media filters, I haven't touched. I'm not going to lie. But that's probably because it is more expensive than their normal quads with half the product. We'll talk about that in another video, though. Okay, guys, leave some down below that you really enjoyed this year. Let me know which ones you thought were absolutely worth the price point and which ones you were just like, nope, never mind. Okay? Okay, thanks. Remember, guys, be safe. Social distancing. Wear a mask. Wash a mask. 6 feet. Wash your hands. Okay, guys, have a good night. Thanks.